And on a Sunday, my ticket is a one-way. I'm about to play in the sky. I always knew you'd make it one day. Today was such a fun day. And I think I'm the first. I got out, free fly, just the sky and the love.
Yeah. WazzyCircus Radio. Welcome back, guys. This is a show where I sit down with some of the most amazing people that I've met in over a decade of professional skydiving. My guest today, 38 years in the sport, 10 gold medals at nationals. That's a decade of kicking ass. I left a small drop zone in Oklahoma to go work with the big boys in Skydive Dallas. And when I stepped on the drop zone, I saw the number one big boy in the midst of 30, 40 skydivers running shit, telling people where to go, how to get out, where to stand, where to land. Scott Latinis, mentor, friend, super honored to have you on the WazzyCircus Radio. Man, this is awesome.
You know, Waz, I want you to know before we go any further what an honor it is to be here. I can't tell you how much I appreciate, and probably all the things that you just said, the number one thing that I heard was friend. Yeah, I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, you always have been, man. You're always there, man. You know, like you're at the DZ, you're on the big ways, you're in the midst of the groups, you're in the tunnel. You represent skydiving, a professional skydiver to me. Man,
I just love this stuff. I don't know. I mean, it's a passion, it's a purpose, it's a gift. You know, it's a challenge. It's just fun. It's childlike fun. Oh. I got to be honest with you.
Right.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you owned an IT company, a small computer company.
I did. I don't anymore. A friend of mine and I, when I started working for Spaceland, I gave that up.
Okay.
I just didn't have the time.
Techie types don't really seem like the skydive types. Am I stereotyping that wrong? Or?
No, I guess I've never been the techie type.
Right.
When I was in college taking computer science, a high school football coach of mine, I saw him in the hallway. He was taking something, and he asked me what I was doing, and I told him. He says, "Yeah, you don't belong there." So, it was a way to. That was before I started jumping, but it turned out to be a way for me to pay for what I love to do.
What you wanted to do, right? Oh, yeah. Undefeated in wrestling in college. Undefeated.
Man, you are like the Howard Stern of research. It was one of those
freshman year all the way through.
No, just one time actually. I just there was some kind of wrestling competition, intramural type thing, and I didn't have nothing to do, so I entered and somehow won, and I still got the trophy. To be honest.
Yeah. So, but it takes that outgoing fighter type to really get as far as you have in the sport, and to take it to where. Like, you have a controlling presence when you're organizing. Like, people aren't going to talk or question you. And I can't stand when people are trying to organize while I'm organizing. Nobody would dare do it. Well, maybe you run into it.
I do run into it. And I just
handle it well.
And a lot of times I just, when that happens, I tell somebody, I go, well, how about on the next jump you organize this? And that they realize, well, that's not what I want to do. I want to be the guy that talks all the time. And, there's a lot of people that have spent money to be there to do that. And it's not fair to them if somebody's not, not giving that kind of attention. So, I try to be nice about it, but, sometimes you just got to say, just shut up.
Shut up. And listen.
And listen, that's right. I'm not always right, but I at least got an idea of what I want to do. And, if somebody's got an idea and they present it in a way that's constructive, I will definitely listen to it. Because, I learn from everybody. I learn from everybody that I skydive with. Sometimes I learn what not to do, but... Right. I learned from everybody for sure. Yeah,
man. 29 times at nationals.
29, yeah. Once I started going, I just couldn't stop.
That's it, huh? It's like a party, huh?
It is. And that's the thing about skydiving is we're a family. We're a family, and like your real family. And like when I was growing up, I saw my grandparents once every other year. So nationals is a time to get with your family. To spend time with your family, and if you don't go there, then you don't know when you're going to see people. It's
right.
As part of going is just being with friends and family for sure.
Man, I was we came up to Spaceland on a fluke a couple months ago, and it was rained out, and you guys were doing the 16-way sequentials or the 20-way comp.
We were doing Texas 20-way.
Texas 20-way, and we're talking about the family. Luckily, I hate to say it for you guys, but luckily for me, it was rained out, and I had 100 of my closest fucking friends waiting for me in a building.
You're right.
I walked
right.
into a sea of just the most friendly, kindest, beautiful faces a man can see. And it was all hugs. I was like, this is dope. And they're like, oh, Weatherhold. I'm like, yes.
But you get a chance to
chat it up.
Yeah. It's and if you'd have tried to get, if you'd have said, hey, let's all meet at a bar somewhere,
It's impossible.
It ain't gonna happen.
Impossible.
So yeah, you got to take advantage of those times for sure.
Yeah, that was amazing. That is the magic of the family atmosphere.
It is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, so 4-way in Stupino, Russia.
Stupino, yeah.
Stupino.
Yeah.
How far into your jumping career were you when you first started competing, period?
Oh.
Before you got internationally.
Started competing in probably the late 80s. 1990 was my first nationals.
Okay.
But I'd been doing some local competing before that, and I realized that that's what I wanted to do. But when I started skydiving, I didn't know you could compete, things like that. And then I started reading about it in parachutists and thought, man, that sounds like a blast.
So you were jumping for 12 years before you did your first comp.
Yeah. I mean, my first, where I went to a nationals or did something outside of my little Cessna 182 drop zone in Beaumont, Texas.
Oh, you started skydiving in Beaumont.
That's where I started.
1980.
Yeah, that's where I started. Yeah, I made static lines and did all that. I remember on my first jump. I remember my first jump course, and they were talking about relative wind and this other crap. And then back then, cutaway meant you had to open up a little cover.
Right.
You had to pull a little ring and reach down. And I remember listening to the instructor talk about thinking, if I have a malfunction, I'm just going to die. That's all there is to it. There's no way I'm going to remember all that stuff.
Shit, man.
Yeah.
They got us right, left, huh?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, and nowadays it's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the easiest thing. It's a pressure situation and all, but it's definitely much simpler. Yeah, and they said, when you're landing on these big round parachutes, look at the horizon. When you feel your toes touch the ground, peel left. I remember looking at the horizon and then looking at the sky because it was that quick. I was on my back.
Oh, right.
So yeah, that's it. Next time I looked down and everything was better.
That was a fun jump. That was your first skydive.
That was my first jump. Yeah, static line out of a 182. Yeah.
On a round parachute.
Round military.
Belly mounted reserve.
Belly mounted. We had spring loaded pilot shoes back then.
Right there.
Yeah, we were doing good. But the second jump, I remember my first jump. I did what I doubt I'm the only person that ever did this. As soon as I left the plane, I looked straight at the ground.
My first jump, that's exactly what.
Oh yeah. So the second jump, they said, look at the instructor when you leave the plane. So I looked up at him, and then everything went black for like a half a second. And what had happened is I'd looked up so hard that when the parachute was coming out, it pulled my helmet over my eyes and then to the ground. And
your helmet.
yeah, it's like, bye-bye helmet. Yeah. But I thought I'd gone blind there for a second. What the hell's going on here?
And then you're under a round parachute, and then you're on your back.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. So, but it was, it just, I just love doing it. From the very first time I stepped out of an airplane.
Hey, before we go on, just for some new jumpers that are jumping the new cutaway systems, what he was saying is there's 2 boxes on your shoulders. And if you have a bad parachute, you've got to open these boxes, grab some rings, and then you disconnect from the bad parachute.
Right.
Now you're in free fall. You've got 2 or 3 seconds before you hit the ground. You have to unzip something and
just pull a ripcord
and feed your next can to be out manning.
Well, I was lucky. We had a pilot chute. We had a spring-loaded pilot chute.
So it exploded off your belly?
Yeah.
So they wanted you on your back.
Oh yeah, you wanted to be on your back. Yeah.
You hear what we're saying, son?
Yeah. So it was. That was back flying before we knew we were back flying. I guess. Yeah.
They were teaching it.
That's it.
Fly it. That's nuts.
I'm surprised. Yeah, like I say, I remember thinking, if I have a malfunction, I'm dead. That's all there is to it.
Friend of the show, Mark Farr, was explaining this. He said back in Elsinore, he'd grab his piggyback and then hop on the plane because they had moved the belly mounts. You could attach it to your rig on top and go. That is nuts, man.
That was state of the art, man. State of the art. Wow, that's. I hope that I get to jump something like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So Beaumont, Texas.
Yeah.
How'd you hear about skydiving?
A friend of mine called me. Well, first of all, my dad was in the Air Force.
Okay, there we go.
At an Air Force base, every year they have an air show, and as part of the show with the, if you were lucky, you had the Thunderbirds, but you had some sort of air show and static displays and all that, and they always had people jump in, and sometimes the Golden Knights, sometimes others.
Right.
And I just remember watching those guys float down thinking, man, that's got to be the coolest feeling, to be up there above the earth and just look down and not attached to anything except a parachute. So a friend of mine called and said, hey, they're giving skydiving lessons at the airport. And I said, let's go. And
how old were you?
I was 22. Yeah, I guess I was 22 because, and my daughter was actually due about 2 weeks after that. And for some reason, I didn't even think of of how bad that looked, that I'm jumping out of an airplane with a daughter on the way. But yeah, it worked out. It worked out. She's actually made a couple of tandems herself. And
there you go.
Yeah,
man. So, when did you get to a turbine drop zone? Because how long were you in? Was it 8 years in? Because you started competing 10 years in, so that means
No, it was probably 5 or 6 years jumping at the drop zone with my buddies, and if we'd build a star, we were just ecstatic.
Yeah, ecstatic.
We got to the point where we decided, you know what, if because we were terrible, we just chased each other. We got to the point where we decided, if we're not going to build a formation, let's not build a diamond this time, or let's not build a donut. We tried different things. And I just thought, man, it's got to be better than this. And I read in Parachutist and all that. And then Spaceland had an otter. Mm-hmm. And the Dave Boatman was a pilot from Metro Airlines. And he would bring an otter in on Friday evening. They'd take all the seats out. They'd jump it all weekend, and he'd take it back. Wow. And I remember going over there, and this was before super otters. I mean, but it was still faster than any Cessna. And I remember getting on it and watching my altimeter move, thinking, holy shit, this thing is climbing like a bat out of hell. Yeah. Right. It was just awesome.
Compared to a Cessna, that otter is just mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so, I watched, the big boys, Jack Burke and Tom Jenkins and them. I watched the stuff they were doing thinking, man, that's what I want to do. That's what I
and they were organizing big ways.
They were organizing, to me, I mean, it was 20 ways or 10 way, whatever it was. It was bigger than a 4-way for sure.
For real.
I mean, in Beaumont, occasionally we'd take up 2 Cessnas, do an 8-way.
Right.
But nothing like what they were doing. Yeah, it was amazing.
Out of one plane.
And so just a little bit of history for you, real quick, if we have time. Is
tons of time.
So Boatman brought his otter to the drop zone one time, and he said, "Hey guys, we have to leave in the first I don't know how many rows, 6, 7 rows of seats. We can't take them out." And so Jack Burke, being the genius that he is with stuff like this, because it used to be when you did a 20-way out of an otter, you had 2 rows of people.
Right.
You had floaters, and you had the people in the door, and then you had 2 rows of people running out, and we couldn't do that. Or they couldn't do that anymore. And so Jack figured out a way to get everybody towards the back of the plane and launch chunks and stuff like that. And nobody in the country was doing that kind of stuff. Jack figured it out because he had to. I mean, it was that this is the situation, we're going to figure it out.
So instead of having the rows and just a couple floaters, he put the 4 and 8 in the door.
He had to put everybody in the back, and of course the pilots had to learn how to fly too.
Like that, right? Yeah. But maybe in that situation, the seats may have helped a little bit.
They may have a little bit, yeah.
But still, they had to all right, we're going to do. Everybody's going to go. Yeah. We're going to all crawl to the tail.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. And that's where that started, because first year we went to nationals, did 20-way. The Florida teams, the California teams, they were all running the rows out.
Okay.
And there's Jack Burke and Tom Jenkins going, no,
stacking the door.
This is how we do it. And it's like, people like Tom Pyrus and people like that are watching, going, holy shit, we got to learn how to do that.
Yeah. So do you know Tom Pyrus?
I knew who he was, but I was not at that level to jump with him at the time. But I knew who he was. I knew that he was somebody that was doing amazing things in the sport.
Amazing things. I know his nephew.
Is that right? Yeah.
His name. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Dan Butterworth. Shout out to Dan Butterworth. Los Bandidos.
All right, Dan.
Yeah. So there were no handles on these otters.
No, there wasn't.
None. No bars.
Nothing.
So you guys were like kind of gripping each other. So they were anchoring you guys in, and then it was go.
As far as I know, I mean, back then I wasn't one of the big groups. We were the 2-way that followed them out later on. That was me there flailing as I'm leaving the plane, going, "Holy shit, this is great!
Awesome. I want to do that."
But I mean, they figured that stuff out. But like you say, there weren't bars because it was a commercial airplane. It was used to
of course,
fly
there's no
people.
bars on this thing. It's drag.
No, they figured it out. There was no door. You rode to 13,000 feet without a door, and it was. We didn't know any better. When you don't know any better, it's just
it's all good. It's how it is.
It's the way it is. Yeah,
the way it is.
When we jumped Cessnas, we didn't know there were faster planes. If we just started to accept it,
I didn't know there was skydiving anywhere else on Earth. when I started in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, dude,
Sure.
this was the drop zone.
Oh, yeah.
This is where it's at, center of the universe.
Yeah, it's
you
true.
know? And,
It's true.
the rest of the world disappeared from me for 10 years.
Oh,
You know?
that's what skydiving will do,
8
buddy.
years,
Yeah.
you know. I didn't wake up until I was at iFly. Like, oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Clocking in and
Yeah.
talking to kids.
Yeah,
There's people here.
Yeah, it's,
You know?
I'm sure we'll get to tunnels in a bit. I got a few stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first, we haven't made it to Stupino yet. So, what was your first 4-way team?
First Nationals forward team was called Imprints.
Imprint.
And it was actually supposed to be imprimis, which is Latin for in the first place. But the judges at our first meet, they couldn't read what my writing, so they just put imprints, and that became our name. We had T-shirts and everything. So yeah, it was with Christy Hitchens and Sherry Burke. She was Sherry Fuller, Tom Rafferty, Dickie Parrott. It was just, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We just had fun.
Right.
We just had fun.
Perfect.
But yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Is that the team that went to Russia?
No, the team that went to Russia was much later, 2005, 2006.
Okay.
It was a team called Thunder, Lou Massey, Kelly Fredrickson, Chad Smith. We went with Joey Jones was our coach, actually. And
Okay.
man, you know what? I've had the best coaches in the world. I'm so lucky. People like Joey, Dan BC, Kirk Werner, John Hamilton, Solly Williams. I mean, these guys are they're the best. They see things. I mean, it's just amazing. I've learned from some of the best, and I'm so fortunate.
Well,
So fortunate.
everybody can tell that you've learned from the best. That's why we
and-
gravitate to you.
And I try to pass it on. There's no reason for me to keep it to myself, you know. So
Right.
these guys they've just taught me so much. Yeah.
So as a young jumper, you're boarding an aircraft to go to Russia
Yes. Yeah.
to compete. What's the feeling like?
Man, it's incredible. It's yeah. I mean, I can't hardly describe it. I'm going to Russia. Going
Right.
to Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
skydive.
it's. I mean, there's a little bit of trepidation because I mean I didn't know what the hell I was getting into, and
How many times have you been to nationals at this point? Do you remember?
that was in 05. I mean, since 1990, and it was one of those deals where, I guess it was in 04, we had finished high enough. This was not a world meet; it was a World Cup type, which the qualification requirements are a little bit looser, and we had finished high enough that USPA went through the top teams and said, "Hey, you want to go to Russia?" And they said, "We can't afford it. We're training for a world meet or whatever." Finally got to us, and we said, "Hell yeah, yeah, we'll go." So
Right on.
yeah, so we got to go, and it's funny because my wife Chris was wanting to go, and people were going, "No, it's Russia. It's
Right.
not Moscow. It's." And I hope I don't offend anybody, but it's like a third world country in a lot of places in Russia.
Right.
And so she didn't go. We made a compromise. We met in Paris on the way back and had a great time. But
That's cool.
went there, and it was, you know what? It's when you leave this country, you appreciate this country.
Yes, sir.
Especially when you go to some place like out in the remote areas of Russia. You know,
Right.
it's just the things we take for granted are not there.
Right.
But we went there to skydive, and it
Yeah.
was it was just an amazing time. An amazing time, yeah.
Yeah, because it's funny. Like a lot of jumpers won't leave their drop zone.
Yeah, you're
You
right.
know what I mean? They won't go down the road to jump in another place, and when you do, you feel like, am I going to be okay? Because I remember when I
Yep.
started traveling to Cali to jump,
Yeah,
I was like, oh, am I still going to be okay out
Yep.
here? The
Oh, yeah.
sky's the same all over the world.
it is.
As soon as
It
you leave
is,
the
yeah.
plane, it's the same thing.
It is, yeah,
And
yeah.
and the language in the sky is pretty much the same because there is no
It is.
right. So
Yeah.
you can look at somebody, they know what you're. No matter what language they speak, I've jumped
yeah.
a lot of international jumpers.
Yep. As a friend of mine came back from Germany, and he said what he learned was schnell fallen, fall fast, fall fast. But like you say, when you're doing 4-way or 8-way, everybody knows the formations by the letter or the number. So
Right.
you know you can communicate with people. They don't speak your language. Which in Russia there was a lot of you could still communicate with people. It was quite an amazing experience. And like you say, people you have to travel. I mean, as much as we love our Spaceland drop zones, we have them everywhere. You can travel a lot, but you got to go to other places to, you know, just to find out how things are run. You know, and
Right.
yeah, not to self promote, but I think you find that Spaceland is one of the finer places, one of the finer organizations, and we have events at Spaceland where the goal is to take younger jumpers and teach them how to go somewhere else and be comfortable.
Awesome.
How do you manifest? How do you decide exit order? How do you decide exit separation? These are things that people take for granted because somebody does it for them. And,
Right.
So like you say, you got to travel. You got to travel. You got to meet people, man. That's one of the best things in sports, meeting the people.
That is the best part of the sport.
Yeah,
it's
no
the people.
doubt. No
Skydiving's cool.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But building the jump is just as fun if it works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
Yep.
landing with everybody, and skydiving's fucking cool.
Hey, no doubt.
How'd you place in Stupino?
We did okay. I mean, there were some, like the Russians had their best teams there, obviously, and there was a team from the U.S. Fast Tracks, which was
Fast Track, shout out, yeah.
They were a very, very good team. They had Mark Kirkby on the team at the time, and they did really well. So we had, I don't remember what our average was, but we did okay. We didn't embarrass ourselves,
Right.
and we had a great time.
Do you remember the aircraft?
God, it was a Russian aircraft that. Things are different.
Yeah.
When you would get on the plane, the pilot wouldn't make sure people had their seatbelts on or whatever. And pretty much as soon as that last person can get on, as soon as their foot left the loading the stairs,
Yeah.
he would start firing it up. It's like, holy shit. Yeah. I don't remember what kind it was. I got, while we were there after the meet was over, I got to jump a Russian helicopter,
That's awesome.
which was amazing. Yeah, and it was kind of strange because the exit door was actually up by the pilot. So he actually ran towards the pilot and then went out the door. Yeah, it was amazing. But it's
cool.
it's getting to jump a Russian helicopter over Russian airspace. It was my dad still. I mean, he just couldn't get over the fact that I got to go to Russia and didn't get arrested, didn't get thrown in jail,
Didn't get interrogated.
Yeah, interrogated on.
Kremlin.
Yeah. So it was an amazing experience.
So when did you make the jump to big ways?
Well, we started 20 ways. Texas 20 way has been around a long time.
Right.
Madeline Murdoch and Laird Cogburn started that a long, long time ago. So that was kind of my introduction to big ways. And then, I was trying to think. I got to meet Dan BC and ended up actually being on an 8-way team with Dan, and he was into big ways too. So that's kind of how I got my introduction. He started inviting me to do big ways, and I was all about 4-way and 8-way. I was very reluctant to do that, but you get the right people and the right organizers that keep it safe, prioritize safety. And
Look at that! Look at her. She's still around? The yellow water? They paint it yet?
They painted it. It's still around. It's up in Dallas. It's still called YK.
Actually, no. I've been on it. You could tell it's still yellow on the inside.
Yes.
You can still tell it's a school bus.
Yep.
Oh, I love that plane, man. I get
It
a
is.
lot of jumps out of that otter.
It's
That was the nicest plane ever. It still is, probably.
It was
It's
really
still the
nice.
same plane.
It's
still
really
the same
nice.
plane.
They put really great benches in it, and I mean it's a great airplane. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, 4-way, just the language of 4-way, and the eye contact, the tail, the point. Oh my God! Then you want to add 8-way into that. It's overwhelming.
It's it can be. It can
Right,
be.
like-
But I tell people because they go, well, I love 4-way. I don't know if I want to do 8-way, but 8-way actually can help your 4-way because in 8-way
Sure.
your awareness starts to expand because you have you have a tail over here and a point over here depending on your slot, and you have to be able, especially if you're in the center, you have to be able to see what's going on more. And so when you spend some time doing 8-way,
Yeah.
you come back to 4-way and everything is just right there.
Fair
It's
and
so
easy,
easy
yeah.
to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so easy to see. Yeah. 8-way requires more precision to make it work. You can get away with some sloppy jumping in sloppy flying in 4-way, but 8-way you do that and it's not going
It's
to work.
over.
It's
It
just
falls
not going to
apart.
work. Yeah.
It just falls apart.
Yeah.
But to watch the clockwork mechanics of a good 8-way team,
Yeah.
it's artwork. Son.
It is. The Golden Knights. They're just amazing. And it's funny
Airspeed.
And airspeed, yeah. I mean, those guys are amazing. The Knights came back from a world meet one time where they'd set a new record for the average. And so I asked them, we were at National, and I asked 3 of them separately. They weren't together. And I asked them, how did you go faster? And they said, we slowed down to fly together, and then we could go faster. So, the slow is smooth, smooth is fast thing, and fast is faster, obviously. But it's actually, I mean, it's true. It's true.
No, I say in the tunnel all the time.
Yeah.
You guys slow down and match each other's
You're right.
speed, and then you build that up. You don't just go as fast as you can and hope they catch up.
You're so right about that, Waz. You're so right about that. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Man. So 16-way.
16-way. Yeah.
Imperial Brava, Spain.
Yeah. Tom Jenkins and I went there. Just Tom Tom was always going places, and somehow, and I don't know how, and I thank God for it. He started taking me along, and we went over there. A guy, Billy Payne from England, had called Tom and said, "Hey, we got a couple of slots coming over." So Tom and I went, and we expected just to have a little bit of fun, meet some people. And about halfway through the meet, we're looking at each other going, "Man, we might get a medal out of this thing. Holy shit, we might get a medal."
Yeah.
And when we came in third, we got a bronze medal, and we were like, it was like we had never won a medal before. I mean, we had a lot of experience. We'd been to nationals a lot in different competitions, but it was like Christmas for us. It was just amazing. The feeling, you still get that excitement every day. You never take anything for granted as a sport, and to get that medal was like, holy shit. We grinned for months after that.
I'm sure
that was amazing.
So were there a lot of English speakers there, or did you have to like kind of blend in? How's your Spanish? It's the King's Spanish. It's not really the Mexican American Spanish that we speak. Well, you're right about that. But there was a lot of people there. Our team was mainly British. Brits and ourselves, and most people around the world. I say most people that we deal with when we go to drop zones. Right. They speak English. Yeah, they speak more than one language. They pretty much make you feel pretty stupid, actually. Every time. Yeah. Like, how many languages?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Man, I can't even spell Imperial Brava.
Yeah. They got tired of my joke when I'd say, "Yeah, I know English and Spanish," and they go, "You know Spanish?" I go, "Oh, oui, enchanté, merci beaucoup," and they go, "That's French," and I go, "Oh, well, I know 3 languages then." They kind of got tired of that joke.
Whatever, dude. How much 16-way were you doing? A lot of 16-way before then?
We were doing. I'd been lucky enough to get on some airspeed 16-way teams at nationals. Okay. And so I had an idea of what it was. By no stretch of the imagination was I an organizer or something like that, but I'd gotten an idea. And formation skydiving, 4-way, 8-way, 16-way, there's certain basics that translate between all of them, and it's as you get bigger formations, you have to be more aware of what's going on. You have to fly at the same speed as everybody else, and it's not as fast as 4-way.
So as the organizer for that, are you thinking of it as 4-way teams working in tandem, or are you thinking 2 8-way teams working in tandem? Or do you have to see the whole picture? That seems it's too big.
You have to see the whole picture, but a lot of the 16-way is made up of quadrants, where this 4-way, this 4-way, this 4-way. So
has to be.
People you say, "Where's your clone?" Pick your clone across the formation, and everybody pretty much does the same move as their clone. So that makes it a lot easier. If people are paying attention and not talking, when you engineer something, if they watch their clone, because you can't talk to 16 people at once. A lot of times you got to break it down to this quadrant. This is what we're doing, and all the other quadrants, if they watch, they pretty much have the same move. It might be mirrored, but it's pretty much the same move.
Pick it up.
So if you break it down like that, it helps. It helps. Otherwise, you're there all day.
Yeah, and I say what I'm saying with the 16-way stuff because when I was on the 20-ways and 22-ways, whatever we were doing with you guys, I just did what Mark said to do, and you said do there and smile. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I'm not kidding. I've done it with you guys a couple times. I could not see the vision.
It can be overwhelming, It can be overwhelming.
But then when you're in the sky, you're like, oh, that's fucking cool.
I see it now.
Right?
I see it now,
but on the ground, and I was trying. I was focused, and I could not understand what we were about to do. I was going to do it because he said to do it, and it worked. But so 16-way, I can't even wrap my head on that. I'm honored to be able to jump with you guys on any big ways we do.
Man, we love to have you.
I'm interested in 4-way and 8-way.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. 4-way is fun because you get to do a lot of points.
Right.
If you're lucky, you get to do a lot of points, and
it takes a high-level belly flyer to do it, though.
Well,
I don't care if you can sit, fly, or carve in your head. You're not a belly flying motherfucker. There's no reason for you to try to even get on it, really, because
it can be fun,
it's super fun.
as long as you keep that attitude. I see teams
come in. You can't come in with ego.
No,
this is belly flying. I got it because you can't belly fly.
It's there was a meet at iFly Woodlands one time, and the DJ, I don't remember his name. Anyway, the announcer guy. He said belly flying is easy to learn, but difficult to master, and it's and it's right. I mean, it's like it's like head down or free flying and stuff,
right?
Which is not that easy to learn, but it's easy to kind of get started.
Right.
But if you don't really work at it and pay attention to it,
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's like teams that show up on the weekend to train four-way, and you can tell that's the first time they've thought about four-way since the last time they were together, and then they get pissed off because it doesn't go well. It's
Right.
like, well, what do you expect?
Yeah.
You know, if you want to get good at something, you got to, you know, it's like anything else in life, you got to put yourself into it.
It's connecting your obsession with your passion and
It is.
allowing it to just burn.
It
You
is.
got to go with the obsession if you're going to get better.
Yeah,
If you're
and-
not obsessing, you're not learning it. You're not learning it thoroughly enough, I believe.
You're right about that, and
You know?
you have to accept that. You have to realize, hey, you know, I got a job, I got a family, I got things to do. When I go out there, I can't get pissed off if it doesn't go well. You know,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can, but it's a waste. It's a waste of energy, and you know, you get out of it what you put into it. I've put a lot into it,
Right.
so. You know, it's what I do. It's what I want to do. You know, like you said, it's the cause and the solution to most of the problems I've had in life.
Yeah,
So,
that's a great
Yeah.
quote, man.
Yeah.
He said, skydiving has been the reason for and the solution to most of the issues in my life.
Yeah.
And if you ever given yourself to this sport, that's the exact,
It's
man.
true. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I try to tell new jumpers, you're going to start looking at buying a T-shirt as a lift ticket. Like, how much are those shoes? That's 2 jumps this weekend.
You're
These
exact-
shoes are fine.
Exactly right.
Hey, people start cooking their own food and bringing lunch to work. And
Yep.
dude, I started like picking up. I was waiting tables at the time. I'd pick up extra tables. I was like, hey, I'll do your side
Oh,
work.
yeah.
I'll give you $10.
Yep.
I'll do your side work so you can get out of here early.
Man,
just so I can make one more static line this weekend.
You're right. You're
You
right.
know what I mean?
I went.
Obsession,
I
son.
tried to sell plasma when I first started jumping. And,
Did you? You saw
and,
blood to jump, son?
yeah.
Oh, it's bad. People stay away from the sport.
And you know the thing is, and as part of that, I'd been eating peanut butter sandwiches for I don't know how long to save money. I went to donate plasma, and they said you got too much iron in your blood. What are you talking about? Do you eat a lot of peanut butter? I said every day. I said, well, we can't use you. I went, that's fucked.
All right. Load organizer at the VIP sequentials in Brazil.
Brazil, yeah, that's another Tom Jenkins connection.
Tom Jenkins.
Another
Shout out
Tom,
to Tom
yeah.
Jenkins.
Yeah.
Portuguese is tough to understand and pick up.
It is.
Especially with our Spanish kind of heritage here in the U.S.
It is, yeah.
You hear another language, you try to attach it to Spanish.
Yep.
It's not Spanish at all.
It's not. The people who speak Portuguese do better at Spanish than the other way around.
Right.
For sure, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very complicated language.
It is. I mean, I tried to learn. When I went to Russia, I tried to learn spasiba and pожалуйста, which is thank you and you're welcome. You know, I tried to learn the lubricant of society, you know, those words, you know. And so when I went to Brazil, I did the same thing. Obrigado is thank you. And Donato, which is easy because that's Spanish too.
Right.
But it's funny, I kind of got lazy and I started saying obrigada, obrigada. It's so funny. The guy says, how come you keep saying attorney whenever you're talking? I went, no, I'm saying thank you. He said, no, you're not. So now I go obrigada. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
right on.
yeah, but again, I mean, most of those people speak. Most of the people down there, they speak some English.
Okay.
And if not, you've got people who can translate. So
Okay.
yeah, it helps.
So
them.
how is organizing something as difficult to do as a sequential with multilingual?
It takes longer. It takes longer for sure. And also down there, they don't have otters; they have caravans.
Okay.
So you're usually doing formation loads.
Right.
And you know, you don't know anybody, so you got to make a few jumps to figure out skill levels and all that. So it is you just have to be more patient. You have to be more patient, and you have to use a lot less words to describe things.
Yeah.
Because you know, if you say something and then you have to wait for somebody to translate it,
Takes
and then
forever.
you're not sure if they're telling everybody the same thing you just said.
They're giving their opinion of what you said
exactly,
for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it is a little more challenging, but it's I mean, it's a blast. You know, it's an honor. The first time that I went down there, I thought, I can't believe these people are bringing me down here
Right.
to do this. It's just incredible, and I feel that way every time I go.
That's what I'm saying. Every time Mr. Boyd has me organized somewhere and I get the invite from you, which
Yeah, it's
if I'm not so busy, I'd
I
go
know.
more.
I
I'd
know.
go more. I'm just so busy.
We'd
but
love to have you.
It's such an honor. I post about it. I tell my friends, hey, Spaceland called me to go
Yeah.
do something. It's so awesome. I can't imagine another country.
It's
you know?
it is. I mean, it is an honor. It's you know, you just this is something that you think, man, if I'm asleep, if I'm dreaming, don't wake me up. Yeah,
son. Yeah,
for
real.
sure. It is, and I mean, it's an honor for me anytime I'm with people that bring me in to coach them or to I mean, I still do it when I do if I do a one-on-one tunnel coaching, and I still get on Facebook and thank them, because to me, I just can't get over that people do that. It's amazing to me, and I appreciate the hell out of it. Whoever you are out there, I appreciate it.
You have a bag of jewels, though, so it's not like you're just some regular dude. We're not even halfway through the first part of the resume I want to talk about. So what they're getting from you, man, experience is a motherfucker, man. You know? Yeah. And being able to fail a lot and then fix it, you've got keys for people.
I've made so many mistakes,
We all have.
Yeah.
If you don't get good. I've got friends that don't make any mistakes and they're really good, and they've had to learn how to teach.
Yeah.
Where I've got friends that have been really shitty flyers, and now they're okay, and they can teach anybody anything.
It is. I mean, and I've learned from you, obviously, but all tunnel instructors, when you see a lot of people when they're at the tunnel and they're talking and they're not paying attention, man, I'm watching that instructor. And like when you have a first flight person in there, I'm looking at them trying to figure out why are they backing up or why are they turning and all that, and there's so much out there to learn.
Yep.
And it's free. I mean, all you got to do is sit there and watch. You know? Yeah.
Man, you're so right. Me and Chris Dixon talk about how it's an art form to be able to get someone to fly. This shit is not easy.
It's not.
That's the difference between an instructor that won't take his hands off of you and someone that's giving you their heart and soul to please straighten your fucking leg.
That's right. You're right about that. Yeah, that's
know
right.
what I'm saying?
And then a lot of times you'll be doing this, and then all of a sudden it's like, stop.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. And so recently, I became a certified IBA tunnel coach.
Awesome, congratulations.
And so I appreciate that. And so I had, part of becoming certified was you have to read these, documents and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And reading that, I mean, you learn so much. I mean, I respect teachers because they never stop learning. I mean, there's always things to learn. And I learned, listen to somebody talk, and if they say, oh, well, I feel like what you're saying, as opposed to, oh, I see what you're saying, or I hear what you're saying, that tells you how they learn, and then you have to make adjustments.
Adapt from there.
You have to make adjustments.
Yeah, it's the slight things exactly that. That's right.
There's
you guys hear that? I see what you're saying, meaning they're visual learning. They're going to tell you the keys to get through it. We call ourselves psychiatrists, man.
You have to listen to them. Yeah. There's no cookie cutter.
I hear what you're saying. Oh, okay, then I will be very, very, very clear what I say. Yeah. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You're right.
Man. So, the tunnel.
Man, what a tool. What a tremendous tool that is.
There's a lot of amazing flyers that can fly inside and outside the building.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
They all want to be tunnel coaches. They all feel they could be the. Of course, people don't listen to me because I'm Waz, but explain.
I listen to you, brother.
I know.
I listen to you.
It's not easy to be a tunnel coach. It's not what you think it is. You're not going to walk in and have control of the environment and the driver and the instructor and all the rules and be a safe. It's not that easy. You can't just walk in an afternoon and I could teach you a little course on how to understand. Oh, no. Even the wind. Just controlling the wind and the correct hand signals and when somebody needs this or that. Yeah. I mean, and just because you know that and you can walk around a little bit doesn't know you're able to coach in the wind. You're right. And that walk around thing, that's important. If you can't walk in the tunnel, you don't try coaching. I'm sorry, just don't try coaching. Do not try coaching. No, it's for sure. We've got videos on Instructors Exclusive. It says it's like a little it's a private group, right? There's a whole section. Oh, I've been teaching AFF for a long time or something is what it's called. And there's all these spots of all these instructors. Like, it's true. It's true. Yeah, and you're not doing you're not doing anybody any favors when you do that. For sure, yeah. Yeah, it's a two-way street. It's the tunnel rat that goes to the drop zone that may think they're better than everybody else, and then they fly their parachute and they crash, right? Yeah. It's the same thing with the AFF guy that thinks, oh, they're better than everybody there. They got the experience, and they get in the wind, and they smack the glass. There's a two-way street. It is, yeah. It is, and the tunnel, I mean, it magnifies your errors. Or the first time I got in the tunnel, it was Orlando, and it just old school Orlando. Oh yeah, and I got out, and the instructor said, and I told the instructor first time in the tunnel, and he said, "What'd you think of it?" I said, "Well, the it's different in there." He goes, "No, it's not." I said, "Come on." I said, "I don't move around that much in there." He goes, Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
You're like, dude,
Yeah.
that wind sucks.
Something wrong with this tunnel.
That tunnel's moving, man. Why is the whole thing moving?
Man, no kidding. And yeah, I mean, and that's, and I had a choice. I could have said, yeah, you're full of shit, or I thought, well, maybe I need to get better at this,
Right.
I need to use this tool, this tremendous tool, yeah.
Holy shit, dude. What you just said is a two-way street that people come on, and I see it in their eyes. A lot of new jumpers. It's either you're full of shit, or I got to get better. But there's a lot of more. I think there's more you're full of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Because in the sky, because they'll say, yeah, but in the sky I don't do that.
Yeah.
They'll be like, yeah, but this is the same thing. But yeah, nah, it's because of the glass. No, dude.
You hear that? Yeah.
You need to hold still. Nah, I'm fine in the sky. I can do whatever I want. I can sit fly.
You got to be able to fall straight down, whether you're on your belly, on your back, on your, sitting, head down. Yeah.
Hey, what year did you fly in the tunnel, the Orlando?
Man, I want to say it was 90. Maybe it must have been 2000. Maybe it was after it was. We had a nationals down in Lake Wales, I think, and we
Wales.
We went to the tunnel, and there was a bunch of us went to the tunnel. It was, and like I say, it was a humbling experience. And I tell people that, if somebody's got 300 or 400 jumps and never been in a tunnel, I tell them, hey man, it's going to be humbling.
Yeah.
And it's funny because what happens is somebody will get in the tunnel that's got 300 or 400 jumps and no tunnel time, and they'll realize how much they're moving. And it'll piss them off, and then it gets even worse because they start getting tense. And a lot of times you got to take a break. We got to take a break, man. Let's talk, because they're wasting their money. You got to realize I'm going to make mistakes. The biggest hindrance to learning in the tunnel is those walls. And it ain't running into them. It's the fact that all your buddies can see through those walls. And nobody wants to look like a fool in front of their buddies. So they don't do things that, you got to make mistakes. They don't push themselves.
And that's an interesting point. I'm going to start explaining, you might need to get over yourself.
Oh, you have to. You have to.
You know what I mean? I don't say that clearly enough. I try to tell people it's going to be difficult. Skydivers get really mad when I tell them that they're not going to like what's going to happen.
But it's true.
But it's true. I tell them not to get frustrated, and halfway through they're frustrated. I'm I told you not to get frustrated, know? Yeah. So, Los Pepes Island Boogie.
Oh, yeah.
Contadora Island, Panama.
That was last year.
Is that another invite?
It was an invite, yeah. It was an invite. A friend of mine named Rafa Zavalas.
Mr. Zavalas, yeah.
He invited me down, and I was thinking, Panama, hey, it's not a big country, but yeah, no problem. And then oh no, we're going to jump in this island, an hour ferry ride away in the Pacific Ocean. Oh, lovely. Well, I mean, it's an island. It's got plenty of land. Oh, no. There's a beach. Yeah. There's a big beach you can land on if the tide isn't in.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it right there, brother. And that's me in the red there.
Yeah.
Red is the new black in skydiving, by the way. I thought I'd put that out there. Yeah. So there's a on the left side of that picture down there about about 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock there. Mm-hmm. That's the main landing area.
Oh, that's the fucking main, not the top left.
No, that's
in
that
bay. Well, you guys are above the bay. It looks
and then
bigger
down there at about 6 o'clock, it's kind of covered up with the guy in the yellow helmet. And that's where organizers can land, which is even smaller. Oh. And if the tide's not in, you have some landing area. But that's the island.
That's a small little bay. That'd be fucking badass.
Oh, I actually landed there one time only because I couldn't make it back to the other one. That's not a good feeling when you go, I'm not going to make it back to that. Yeah, but we had a pilot named Mike Woods, I believe his name, Woody, from Skydive Chicago. Man, this guy was amazing.
Okay,
amazing.
Spot on.
There were only 3 people that landed in the water the whole week I was there, and all 3 of them were wingsuiters. So they pretty much put themselves there. Yeah,
themselves,
yeah. Mike Woods, man, this guy he's an amazing. If you ever get a chance and he's jumping, just trust the man.
Hey, what's the name of that island right there?
It's Contadora Island.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there's a complex there. It used to be owned by a drug lord, and it's huge.
Shout out to drug lords.
Yeah, there you go. He died in a plane crash with a woman that wasn't his wife, and his wife just pulled off the island. She took everything and just abandoned the place.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a beautiful island.
There's an airstrip on the island?
It is,
of course
yeah.
there is.
It is, yeah.
Lord.
They've got some resorts there and stuff like that. But yeah, you're jumping when you exit an airplane. You're over the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah,
and
like a vast stretch.
Yeah, we'd be doing like a 4-way, and I'd say, all right, we're breaking at $5,000, and people go, $5,000 for a 4-way? I said, I'm breaking at $5,000.
I'm heading for land, son.
I want to know where I am when I track off. Yeah.
Were there any other amenities on the island? Like, did you go snorkeling or scuba?
I didn't. I worked every day I was there.
Right.
My wife, she she toured around. She walked around and stuff like that. They've got stuff. They got hotels. They got resorts. They got great places to eat. They got the friendliest people, man. It's just, yeah. It was a tremendous experience.
Yeah, man.
Just lucky to be there, yeah.
So, Russia, Brazil, Spain, all over the U.S.
Man.
Favorite drop zone you've been to? I no bias, right? And there's doesn't say anything about anything right now because we all love Spaceland. Spaceland is the future of skydiving.
It is.
So that means we know that it's the
it's a well-run organization, and it's safety is primary, and
it's the best, man.
Whatever you want to do, man, Spaceland can do it for you.
But
Atlanta's a beautiful place because
I love Atlanta.
But I got to be honest with you, Imperial Brava,
right? Because
right
isn't it over that bay also?
It's right there by the Mediterranean, and you can see France from altitude. It's a beautiful place to skydive. A beautiful place to skydive. I got to be honest. Contador Island would be a beautiful place if it wasn't so scary.
Right. For sure, man.
No, I mean if you have decent canopy skills, you'll be fine. You'll be fine there. But it is a little when you look at an airplane and you see an island a mile away, or you're over a different island knowing you got to get out and the uppers are going to take you, it can be a bit apprehensive.
Yeah, that's harrowing, man.
But yeah, I mean, Imperial Brava is a beautiful place to skydive. I know Dubai has taken it over. I don't know if they've made changes or not, but there's certain things you can't change, and one is the view.
Yeah. Oh, Dubai got it, huh?
Skydive Dubai had bought it. They used to have a badass go-kart track by the drop zone. It was you can tell you're not in the United States when the safety briefing is right as gas, left is brake, and don't burn yourself on the engine. Get in.
Watch out for the heat.
Oh yeah, and there's no governor on those suckers, but I don't think it's there anymore. Awesome. But yeah.
And didn't they have a tunnel, or don't they have a tunnel?
They do now. They didn't when I was there, but they do now. I think it's a 16-foot, and it's nice.
Right on, man.
It's nice.
Spread over 29 nationals.
Yes.
Paris, Elsinore, Chicago, Arizona,
DeLand, Lake Wales. Yeah.
Which one was the most memorable? Hey, let me also say, you just took gold a couple months ago. Your 10th gold.
10-way, back-to-back, 10-way, yeah.
Back-to-back.
Yes.
Back-to-back.
Probably in 2002 in Chicago, because that was the first gold medal that I won at a nationals, and it was 16-way. Nice. And we had just finished the season with 8-way with Dan BC. Three of the people on that 8-way team went on to airspeed. I mean, it was quite a team. We finished fourth because the third place team was made up of a bunch of world champions that actually trained when they figured out what we were doing. But we had a tremendous time, and so we're sitting around with nothing to do, and Craig Gerard walks over and says, "Hey, anybody want to do 16-way?" I went, hell yeah, with airspeed. Right. And we ended up winning. That's the first gold medal that I won at nationals.
Wow, a pickup team. Not even the reason you went.
Oh no, not the reason why I went. And it was such a tremendous feeling. That probably holds the fondest memory.
Yeah, life is funny, ain't it?
It is. Yeah. I mean, I cherish every one of those medals. I cherish every medal and every teammate I ever had at nationals, but that one seems to stand out because it was first. It's the way it is. Yeah.
Speaking of Chicago, did you know Roger?
No, he was. I didn't know him. He was there. He was there for that first one. Okay. Yeah, he was there for that first. I didn't know him that well, but the things I heard about him, and what a tremendous human being.
Yeah, man.
Tremendous human. A friend of mine from Beaumont went up there to jump one time, and he said he walked up, and this guy comes out and says, "Hey, I'm Roger Nelson. What do you?" Well, I just came up from 182 drop zone, and I just thought I'd check it out. Oh, let's go make a jump. It's like, holy crap.
Right.
Yeah.
I just had a guest on recently that had that exact same experience.
Oh, yeah.
With Roger Nelson, and that's why he runs his drop zone the way he does.
Oh, yeah. Isn't
that amazing? What kind of imprint? I mean, I'm talking about the guy. I never met him. I'm just sitting around the bonfire at night.
What an influence! And there's people in the sport like that just give back to the sport, and that's. It's people like you, Waz. I mean, people that keep the sport moving and challenging and fun and growing. And man, I appreciate everybody that does that. Yeah, I mean, there's people who don't do that, and they have fun, and that's great, and we need them in the sport. But people that keep the sport growing and advancing, I mean, that's the people that we need, because we got to keep doing this.
And we do got to keep doing this. And you came up with this tunnel hybrid flying idea, and I really like it. I really like what you want to do with the free flyers and belly flyers, trying to combine. What I see with it is we need such high speeds or baggy suits. It's going to be hard for us to be vertical, but we can do dynamic. We can carve. Belly and back carve through or around or in unison with formations.
I think we can.
If you really want to talk about this, let's do it. Even if it's the bellies are doing something while we're transitioning to make another move.
Yeah.
And we can build some really cool shit.
I think we can. And, the hybrid stuff has been around a while, but like you say, it took big suits. Mm-hmm. I mean, when I do that stuff, I'm wearing 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, Demo, right?
Yeah, I know
Him
Demo.
and I got into and did it one time with a couple people, and every time we got out, we're shoving lead into our jumpsuits.
Right.
But I think there's a place for that. I mean.
Yeah. So if you weight them up, man. If you weight them up, we can rip it up.
Oh, there ain't no doubt, and we've done some of it and had a lot of fun. But. One of the things I've noticed about Spaceland is the free flyers and the belly flyers, they get along. There's no there's no segregation between the two disciplines.
That's amazing.
And I think the tunnel is a place where that can really happen.
Right.
Really happen. Yeah, it's MFS is a tremendous sport.
Tremendous. Shout out to Mickey Nettle.
Yeah.
Who was on that team?
Oh, Mickey and Rusty and Josh.
And Josh.
And Josh Evans, yeah.
The dream team.
Yeah, and
Dude,
you got to remember
on,
that I mean, although they've all got a lot of tunnel time, you can't practice MFS in the tunnel because
the wind speed changes.
The wind
I've
speed.
tried it.
The wind speed,
I've tried it. You blast down.
Yep.
You drop to your belly on the net, get the point, and then you got to get vertical again to
Yep.
get to the next point. Or there's no way to do 2 belly points at 95.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good luck
It's
with that. I mean,
yeah.
I hear people go, "Oh, I can fly on my belly at 100%." That's great. Now try to reach and grab a grip, or
close accordion with me, son.
try to do something. Yeah. And so, but I think the hybrid thing is where you have a constant speed that's. Maybe a little bit lower than what the free flyers want, and
Like
way
90,
higher
like
than
90%. What are you guys doing it at?
We were doing it. I did it with Joe over at I Fly Woodlands. We were doing 80. I want to say like 83, 85%. Yeah, and he was struggling.
Oh,
he was struggling. Yeah, and he's a tremendous flyer. I appreciate everything he's done. I mean, he flies with me, and he has a great time. But it's something that the belly flyers have to. They have to step up to what the free flyers need if they want to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they've got to land their parachutes with all this weight.
Oh yeah, and you see these little women, 100 pounds, that are wearing 28 pounds of lead, and here I'll go up on a jump with 14 pounds and just try not to complain too much.
Right, because they're wearing.
And they look at me like, "Shut the fuck up! What the hell's the matter with you?" Yeah.
Has there ever been a hybrid between like adding back flying in with 4-way?
There was a 4-way team. Joey Jones and Thomas Hughes were on, called Black Magic, and they did an entire 10 rounds Nationals 4-way on their back.
Oh, no fucking way.
Yeah, but they were all on their back.
Magic, baby.
They're all
on their back.
All on their back.
But
yeah.
that's still, you know how hard that is?
Oh yeah.
I mean, what is the back fly world record?
That's a good question. I think we might ought to. You and I need to organize
Spaceland,
something like that.
This.
Hell yeah. Yeah, hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, let's set the back record, dog.
Yep, I remember.
It can't be much, man.
It can't be, if at all. There might not be anybody that's even. But I remember Joey Jones talking about when they did Black Mountain. They'd get in the tunnel with no jumpsuit or just jumpsuits on, and they would kick ass. And he said, "Man, the first time we put the rigs on, we couldn't even touch each other, So it takes us a lot of skill. But yeah, man, I've done a lot of back flying in the tunnel and in free fall. So I can fall straight down. Right. So I think that's a good start.
That's a good. Hey, but no lie, when you're looking up, trying to take a caterpillar on your back, if you're doing it straight, if your legs go out, you lay out.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and that'll be the problem.
It can get ugly. Yeah, it can get ugly.
So no, we'll just design like a. I don't know. Let's think about it like a diamond or something.
We can come up with something. Yeah, I mean,
that'd be a great way to introduce Spaceland San Marcos to the world.
Oh, I like that.
Get on the parachutist with the backfly world record at Spaceland San Marcos. We got the local talent. We got the freaking Houston's right there.
We got Thomas Hughes.
Yeah, Thomas Hughes. Shout out Thomas Hughes. Can't wait to meet you, man. I hope you come on the show.
Yep. I just a quick little story here. I did a 4-way one time where I just got a brand new suit with mega booties. Ended up on my back and went into a spin. And man, I had a hell of a time getting out. I ended up, just doing the track position to get out of it.
Right.
And right after that, I went up to Denver for a tunnel camp, and I got Mike Silva, and I said, "Mike, I need to learn how to fly on my back. I talked to Ari Perlman. I said, Ari, I got to learn to fly on my back because it scared the shit out of me. I'll be honest with you. And so, I learned to fly on my back first without booties because neither one of them would coach me with booties.
Right.
And then I learned with my booties. You got to learn that kind of stuff. You got to learn that kind of stuff.
Now, let me tell you something. I was working at Skydive Dallas at the time. I was doing tandems.
Yeah.
That's where that happened.
Yeah.
I remember watching the video. You guys were at the bottom of the jump, and you just spun out of control.
Oh, yeah.
I saw it. I was standing there, and they're like, see, it can happen to anybody, right? But I was like, God, you were a god then, and it happened.
I don't know about
whatever.
That. I felt it was a good learning experience for people that somebody with that many jumps,
right? That
could happen. I know people are laughing at me and saying, "Oh, what an idiot!" But you know what? It can happen.
No, it happened.
And I mean, luckily I got out of it, and we actually turned a couple of points on our bellies after that. But
right, I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
And the reason it stuck with me this whole time, Scotty, because I was on my 15th skydive.
Yeah.
Over the oil tanks of Oklahoma, everything's going fine. I waved and lost control.
Oh yeah.
And I lost complete control, I didn't know what happened, and I finally fixed it, and I dumped, and I was low, and I made it back, but it scared the shit out of me, and I kept it to myself, kind of. Well, I told my friends that night at the fire, right? But,
of course.
When I saw it happen to you, I was like, this happened.
It happens. It happens, yeah.
And in the tunnel world, we have something called a ghost kick that kind of happens.
Yeah.
So stupid, man. So it happens when you don't know the wind is up as high as it is, and if your feet get in before your body, it lifts you up and slams you in your head in the doorway.
I can see that happening.
It's happened to me. It's happened to a bunch of people. It's called a ghost kick.
I can see that happening, yeah.
But I liken it. It's the same thing. It's just boom. It just happens and you don't even know what the fuck happened.
Yeah, I can see that happening, yeah. Yeah, you just don't check the speed before you get in and what just happened, yeah.
Right on. I think it's time for a freak out.
All right.
So shout out to Join the Team, jointheteam.com. They put out a weekly video of skydive craziness, like malfunctions and stuff. Nobody ever gets hurt. A lot of people watch them for fun. We want to watch them to learn what not to fucking do, man. Now this one's nuts. We're going to have to watch this a couple times, son.
I see which one this is. I know I just recently saw one. This isn't the one I saw, though.
So this is a Big Way belly skydive. They're breaking the Skydive Chicago. You can see the river down there.
I see the river, yeah.
So
tracking along that river is just awesome.
Shit. I know. So canopy opens next to this guy. He dumps his parachute. Boom. He opens next to somebody.
Ooh.
His parachute turns over them. It looks like they're clear. They're clear, but he turns back in.
Oh, no.
Boom. Watch. Cutaway.
Cutaway already.
Legs in the arms. So it says accidental cutaway. Now, I think...
You think it was accidental, huh?
Well, that's what it says on the title, I believe. But I think, Scotty, after seeing it a couple times, they'll show it in slow-mo. We'll watch it again. I think when he collides, watch. I think the pilot chute from the other canopy wraps around his cutaway handle. Because watch. Tink, it's gone.
Oh.
While he was holding his...
And his hands are on the riser, yeah. Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. And then his booties are in the line, son.
No. You know what? That guy, whoever he is, and I'm glad he's okay. That guy, I bet it seemed like a minute that his foot was in the lines, whereas obviously there's only a couple of, less than a couple seconds. Yeah. It's funny. We go to Big Way. You talking about Big? We go to Big Ways at Paris P3. We got Dan BC out there, and he'll tell you. He said when you open, expect your canopy to go at somebody else's that's coming at you.
Yeah.
He said when you pull, expect the hard pull. I mean. Yeah, you got to be ready for that stuff.
Head on a swivel. I don't know why he swung back. Can we pull that up again? And it seemed like he was clear. You pick up his feet, fucking fly on head, and you're good. But who knows? Maybe he was twisted in his harness.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
And then he just popped back, and that's what swung him.
A little bit of asynchronous opening or something there. But yeah, we're...
Boom. So canopies are everywhere. You're scared. Boom, they're over there.
I mean, I don't know what altitude he is. Yeah, so he's headed at it.
The rear's fucking boom. Oh, shit. Accidental cutaway. That's gone. Flip out.
Yeah.
So he just caught his handle, it looked like.
It does look like it, yeah. Well, he kept everything, so that's good.
I tossed mine, my first one.
Oh, no.
Chink, chink.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and they were embroidered and shit.
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's, it's good that he survived that. It's
thank God.
Man, look at that. His reserve pilot chute is below him.
Yo, peeps, he was looking down at his free bag.
Yeah.
That's never a good thing, son.
Sometimes it's a good thing our brain can't process shit faster because that would have really scared the shit out of me. Yeah.
You'd stop functioning.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Man.
How many cutaways you got, Scotty?
6 or 7 probably.
Yeah, because you're not doing tandems. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually had one on a tandem. I was a tandem
Passenger?
instructor. Yeah.
Oh, as a TI. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was one of those where the passenger, it was like second or third tandem, and so we had a practice pull. We had a little handle with Velcro, you know. So he goes in and does his practice pull, and I open, and it's malfunction. I cut away, and we open, and under canopy, I said, "So you wouldn't happen to still have that handle?" And he goes, "No, I went in and put it in my pocket after our reserve open." I went, "Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's
You're cooler than I am, man."
Yeah, that's heads up.
Oh yeah. But it's I had one under tandem, the rest of them, and yeah, I mean, I packed some of them, and some of them it's just the way it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta be ready for it. You gotta practice your emergency procedures.
Yeah. For real, you got to obsess about those. Come on, man.
Oh yeah, you're
it
right.
needs to be second nature.
It needs to be.
I tell my students, touch your handles 100 times before you get on the plane.
Yeah.
Make it just
know where they are. Know where they are. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a weird question because it doesn't work. Favorite skydive? Is there one that stands out more than? I mean, because there's so many and they're so great. I don't want to even ask that. I don't know why I wrote that down.
You know, I tell people so this happened to me one time. After a weekend of jumping, I write numbers on a calendar because I log my jumps. You know, those people. That go,
I don't log my
jumps. But I still log them. But I write numbers, so I go back every 3 or 4 months and I log jumps. And I was doing that, and I found
that's
out.
Very smart. You guys hear that? Look, instead of going in your logbook and doing it and everything, he at least writes the number down somewhere.
At least I know. So I go back, and I think it was 10,000 was a 4-way with my team. You know, so I put something on Facebook like we do, and you know, I said, hey, I want to thank Travis and I think it was Travis and Tim and Robin. And Al for my 10,000 jump, and somebody wrote and says, "Man, if you'd have known that it was going to be 10,000, you could have done something special." And I said, "They're all special. Every one of them special." But as for memorial jump, man, memorable jumps. I mean, I made a jump over San Francisco's Fisherman Wharf one time.
Holy cow!
We did a 20-way for T-Mobile. T-Mobile brought out some phone that nobody remembers anymore.
Right.
But we did one, and we landed on a parking garage right there by Fisherman's Wharf. And I think that's probably, I never took my dad on a tandem, which I really wanted to.
Right.
But I think that might be the most memorable jump I made. It was incredible.
That sounds incredible.
It was, yeah, it was. I mean, we're flying around. There's Alcatraz and Golden Gate, and so we make about 4 practice jump runs. So we finally land, and Craig Gerard and John Hamilton were spotting, and they get down and they go, that last jump where we actually jumped was the only jump run that was actually good.
Right.
So I think that's probably the most memorable jump, and man, I've been extremely fortunate to have some incredible skydives.
Man, that's magic.
Yeah, I've taken Chris on 8 tandems back when I was doing tandems.
Yeah.
And I sometimes I cannot get over how fortunate I am to have done what I've done in this sport.
Man.
I'm a lucky man. I'm a lucky man.
Hey, I used to tell my students, I'm the luckiest man you'll ever meet.
There's no doubt.
I was like, I'm him. They're like, well, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You know?
Forget about the most interesting man, the luckiest man. I'm right there with you, Waz.
I tell my students, my prayers go like this. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
You're right. You're right
I'm
about
sorry. Thank you.
that. There's always that one, yeah.
Please forgive me. I'm sorry, but thank you.
Yeah.
So, someone's listening to this. They're 25, 23. They want to be a professional skydiver. They want to travel the world. They want to organize big ways. What would you tell that person?
Man, you just everything. You just got to realize that you don't have to make a lot of money. If it's something that you love to do, you'll figure it out. Seriously, you'll figure it out.
Right.
I never thought I'd be a professional skydiver, and that's basically what I do. That's what I do for a living. That's where I make my money. And people, I've heard it say, figure out what you want to do and figure out how to make money at it. And it's not easy. It's not easy, but that's what you want to do. Become a tandem instructor, become an AFF instructor, learn to pack, be a packer, whatever it takes, learn to eat ramen noodles until beef ramen noodles actually taste like beef.
Yeah. Right.
whatever it takes. I mean, I've never actually been in that situation because I've had decent jobs, but you know, I've made life decisions that worked towards skydiving. That was my motivation, was to be able to skydive. And if it's somebody who's 25 years old, or you know, I mean, if I hadn't been married and had kids, I would have moved to Arizona because that's where things were happening. You know, figure out where things are happening, figure out where you want to be, and go do it, and realize that you have to make sacrifices. That's just the way it is. You have to make sacrifices. And when I started the season that Dan BC contacted me and said, let's do 8-way. I mean, he's talking 800 skydives. He's talking 2 weeks at Arizona, a month. And I remember talking to John Hamilton saying, man, it sounds wonderful, but I don't know if I can afford it. And his words that have cost me a lot of money, John Hamilton, wherever you are, were, there's nothing more expensive than regret. And that's
heavy, son.
That's
heavy.
That made my decision for me. It's made a lot of decisions for me. I'm not saying they're the best decisions, but it's made them. If that's what you want to do, there's ways to do it. There are ways to do it.
That's heavy.
Yeah. Nothing more expensive than regret. I've told people that before, and some of them take it, and some of them go, "You're full of shit."
Those ones probably have a lot more in their bank account than we do.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
All right. What's next for Scott Latinis?
Just keep doing what I'm doing. I mean,
Are you staying in Houston?
I'm staying in Houston, probably. Yeah. I mean, I haven't thought about leaving. With Spaceland, I'm extremely fortunate with Spaceland. I'm director of event organizing, so. Basically what I do is I work with DZ managers and and say, they want these events, and so my job is to make sure they have the lift capacity, work with organizers, vendors who, man, we have tremendous vendors. They give us a lot of product, and they give us certificates and stuff to award. And so, I enjoy doing that, and plus I get to travel to, if we're having an event in Clewiston, South Florida, I get to go. Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, obviously, and then San Marcos now. And
well, man,
excuse me.
You're organizing aircraft, instructors, events.
Yes.
That's a heavy job. That's not.
It's a little more than I thought I signed up for.
That doesn't sound easy at all. That's like playing chess with otters. It's
a lot of work. I work with Trent Alkek with he's in charge of the. And it's like any big drop zone. There's an airplane company, and there's a drop zone company, and there's
rig,
and rigging, and so I work with Trent and on where can we put airplanes when we need them, and Steve Boyd has been so supportive. It's amazing.
Awesome.
It's amazing. We had an event up in Dallas where we were supposed to have 2 otters. One otter went down up in Orange, or went down. It broke. Yeah. They had to send another plane there, so we only had 1 otter. So Steve went out and rented a sky van and brought it in. I mean, I can't ask for better support than that.
Mr. Boyd, man.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, I mean, it just keeps getting better and better every year that I get to be involved with such wonderful people, and I get to do that. And is it work? Yeah, it's work. But when somebody comes up to me, Waz, I'll be honest with you, somebody comes up to me and says, "When are you going to get a real job?" I figure I must be doing something right.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, man. So I would love to try to help out some more.
Oh,
I would love to.
We want you, buddy. We want you.
I'm going to try.
We want you. We've done the VR stuff, that Mark and you and I have done, and we need to do more of that stuff.
We do need to do more VR skydives.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, I'm just say it right here, Waz. I can't thank you enough for everything that you do for this sport, both inside and outside. And just allowing me to be a part of that, man. I can't. I know I'm serious. I can't thank you enough. It's people like you that keep this sport moving forward. I mean, the stuff you do for your flight nights in the tunnel.
Thursday.
Holy shit. That's inspirational. I mean that. And when I say inspirational, it inspires me to think. To think. And I hate to say outside the box, but that's pretty much what it is. Outside the tunnel, I guess you could say.
Outside the glass.
Man, outside the glass.
That's what we said.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah,
I mean,
outside the glass.
The things you do. And I think you've got great support from iFly to be able to do that, because I think there's some tunnels that may not want to do the kind of stuff that you do, or don't feel comfortable with it, I guess.
They couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I see the stuff that you do. I see stuff like Patrick Passé over in Europe, some of the stuff that him and Martial do. and Dan BC doing, I go, man, these guys, where do they come up with this stuff, you know?
We're at work sitting there staring at the damn thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just staring at the tunnel like, what can we do
I've been lucky
today?
to be flight nights before, and it's such a blast. I mean, I appreciate
Thanks,
the stuff
man.
you do. I really do, yeah.
Thank you, Scott. Well, shit, we need you to come out and host some with me.
I would love to do
You're
that.
going to be here. You're
Yeah.
going to be in San Marcos.
Oh, there's no doubt.
You
There's
know
no
what I
doubt.
mean?
Yeah. there's no doubt. I look forward to it.
Mr. Latinis, honor and pleasure, man.
Waz,
Where can people find you for coaching?
if they go to
4-way, 8-way, skydive, or in the tunnel, guys. He's all around. He's 100% skydive motherfucker. man.
I mean, obviously, I'm on Facebook like everybody except a couple guys. I know two people not on Facebook, and it's like, hey, I know those two guys. You know? But I'm on Facebook, Scott Latinis, Latinis, Scott at skydivespaceland.com.
There you go.
And just let me. I live 10 minutes from I Fly Woodlands.
Oh, okay.
And so if somebody just, wakes up one morning and says, you know what, I need to work on falling straight down or whatever, let me know. And if I'm in town, we will make it happen.
Yeah,
we'll make it
buddy.
happen. Yeah. I believe in that stuff. It's a passion. It's a purpose. It's a challenge. It's a gift. It's just childlike fun, man.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
So we're going to end on that, man. Childlike fun. Learn to skydive. It'll change your life and save mine. If you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please do. YouTube, Podbean, Google Play, iTunes, wherever you find your podcast. The most amazing people that I've met in over a decade of professional skydiving. WazzyCircus. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
How dope was that, dude?
One day, man, I think I could cry. And when you flip on your back, lay flat, backtrack, look back, and track away